Greetings. It's Monday, January the 13th, 2025. I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column, and this is the Monday Morning Report. A little bit of a delay getting things out this morning. I was up much of the early morning hours waiting for the Blue Origin launch of the New Glenn rocket. That's the Amazon operation that's trying to compete with SpaceX. They kept resetting the countdown continuously, and it was getting so annoying that most of us just gave up, and it's a good thing because the mission was scrubbed. I must say something, as I grew up with the Apollo era, and I got to see the greats of broadcasting at the time narrate a launch, and there were two female commentators, apparently hired by the company, who were gabbing constantly over nothing. Sometimes it pays just to keep your mouth shut when you're doing something like this, and it was just so annoying. And I think that's, I think that drove people away more than anything. You just had to turn the mute button on and just watch the rocket emit steam or whatever it's emitting these days. One thing I found frightening is there were open flames near this rocket. I've never seen that before. Rockets tend to be very, shall we say, explosive. So why do they have all these open flames in the area? That bears a little bit of research to be done. I'll check it out and get back to you. Anyways, the big story, of course, is the continuing burning of Los Angeles. By the way, thank you very much for everybody who enjoyed my nearly 30-minute report on Saturday about this whole affair and its background and its ramifications. If you haven't heard it yet, I would recommend it. As of this morning, the death toll is 24 or 25 known people who were killed. I'm sure there's a lot more, and there'll probably be many we never know about who were cremated by this horrifying act. One good thing about it is that wokeism seems to be really dying out in Southern California pretty quick. The minority hiring quotas and the other sort of diversity hires going on at the highest levels of government in Los Angeles, they're showing what they're worth. Just do a little bit of research. The head of the fire department, the deputy, and a few other people, including the diversity officer of all things, they're paid nearly $500,000 a year. Really? I mean, this is the problem. California has been so damaged. It's, I think Los Angeles, as I said, is going to become the Detroit of the West Coast. There's really no other way to describe it. There are many people who are blaming all sorts of interesting things, but most likely, according to any of us who've checked into this, the fire was probably caused by one of the 200,000 plus homeless in the area, and who knows how many illegals who are constantly cited as setting fires to make their dinner or what it is and keep themselves warm at night. When you have homeless people, you have open fires, and you usually don't have a fire extinguisher nearby. You get what you pay for, or don't pay for. Now, another thing, too, that's being pointed out is the use of prisoners to fight this fire, and I've seen all sorts of numbers, but it's supposed to be a few hundred. Vladimir Putin of Russia is making big political hay over this. He's pointing out that Americans are using forced labor. There's no indication that they're forced. They could, and my guess is they would be volunteers. At least I hope so. Forcing people to go into that sort of situation who are incarcerated is a, crime against humanity. But he's making big hay over this. And the rest of the world is noticing if the U.S. can't even cut back its own brush and fight fires in its second largest city, physically its second largest city, should we really be afraid of them? In other news, Donald Trump was sentenced in New York to nothing. Honestly, folks, anyone who delves into the reality of that case in detail, if you take your time, knows it's total nonsense, the whole thing from beginning to end. It was a political hit of the likes of which the Founding Fathers and quite a few generations that followed would be turning in their graves. Anybody who's a liberal out there saying, well, Donald Trump is a convicted felon, are just idiots. Really. Sick of this. We're all sick of this insanity that has been institutionalized. Los Angeles is a living, or I should say dying example of that insanity. Please, there are those who drink from the fountain of knowledge, and there are those who only gargle at it. Start taking some drinks out there, folks. Meanwhile, north of the border, Justin Trudeau has not resigned. Everyone's saying, oh, he's resigned. No, he says he's going to resign when his political party finds a new prime minister, which could be months from now. In the meantime, the clown to the north is going to continue making a mess of what was once considered one of the nicest countries in the world. And speaking of to the north, Donald Trump wants Greenland. Well, who wouldn't? Why not? This is turning into something interesting. I personally think it's a great idea, and I'm all for military force being used to reclaim the Panama Canal. It was never given back. It was thrown away, as I've said before. I think the best thing is just to put it to a vote to the people of Greenland. It is a colony of Denmark, who is pretending to be a colonial power. They don't really put much into the island or continent or semi-continent or whatever you want to call it. The United States has bases there, feeds the place. I mean, it's effectively American territory already. Oh, and Donald Trump Jr. took a ride up there to meet with people, and why not just let the people of Greenland decide what they want to do? They don't have enough of a population or an economy to be an independent country. Why not? The Europeans don't like this idea, but tough. Frankly, I'm tired of the Europeans. I know, yes, my ancestors came from Europe, but Americans are a different people. We're a different race, for Pete's sake. I mean, even Benjamin Franklin pointed that out. 500 years or so of evolution, we're a different type of species. And I'm really tired of Europe's tyranny. Look what Germany's doing right now. They're eradicating a political party that they don't agree with, taking away their guns. So I wish Donald Trump all the best in conquering Greenland. That would be a great thing. Canada, well, I don't think it would make one state. It would make a few, but let's take it one step at a time. First Panama and Greenland, then we'll think to our conquest to the north. I guess it's time to make America imperialist again. Well, at least it won't be boring if that happens. Let's see now, what else is going on? Okay, the Russian-Ukrainian war, folks, is still going on. Before I get into that, has anyone seen any drones lately? Any more news on the drones? I didn't think so. But the drones are in Ukraine, and they're being used to massacre North Koreans. I have to say I'm not a fan of North Korea. I don't think that country should exist. I think that it's a blot on humanity that the rest of the planet has allowed it to exist. It is nothing more than a misery pen put together by a crime family named Kim. But these soldiers who were forced to go fight on the side of the Russians are being massacred by these explosive drones, and it's almost entertaining, but it's sad. And this just shows exactly how much of a paper tiger North Korea really is. I know that people have been terrified of them for decades, but I think at the end of the day, when that place finally does go, we're going to go there and see to it that it was just a Potemkin village. I don't think it has as much military power as people think it does, and their soldiers are showing exactly how worthless they are. But it's a tragedy. North Korea is one big, horrifying tragedy, and to see what's going on, how Putin has taken this cannon fodder and thrown it into this meat grinder. Well, will Donald Trump be able to end this horrifying waste of human potential? I think they're talking about close to 1 million people have died, that the numbers have been actually underestimated. It's got to end. It's, like most wars, totally needless. And the only people who benefit are those who sent a lot of money to Ukraine and had it laundered, and it's now sitting in secret bank accounts all over the world, ready to be used for super yachts, mansions, drugs, all sorts of nasty vices. Oh, and speaking of foreign affairs, which is kind of what we're focusing on right now, just announced Russia and Iran are set to sign a strategic partnership agreement on the 17th. Now, that's no doubt a result of Trump coming into office. They are looking to line up their ducks so that, well, Donald Trump is in the back pocket of Israel pretty much, and Israel wants to destroy Iran, and this is a way to kind of block it on the chessboard. We'll see how things go. Oh, and Mr. Netanyahu is not going to be coming to Donald Trump's inauguration. And that's only 1 week away, folks, 1 week away. And remember, the big test to see if Donald Trump is on the up and up is to see how many and how quickly the January 6th supporters, his supporters, who were put in jail for the most meaningless charges and have been rotting there ever since, will he pardon them? We'll see what goes. But it's going to be an interesting week. It looks like 2025 is turning out to be a lot more eventful than 2024, and that scares me a little bit. Anyways, stay tuned and stay alert. That's it for today. If you appreciate my work, please like, subscribe, and share, and please consider a paid subscription. It keeps the lights on literally and figuratively. Share with your friends and share with your enemies. If you want to contact me, I can be reached at feedback@aureliancolumn.com. That's feedback@aureliancolumn.com. I'm up on X. You can reach me there. My handle is MICCAMPEN. That's MICCAMPEN. That's also the same domain as my professional website. I'm up on a lot of other social media platforms, and in spite of Mr. Zuckerberg saying how wrong he was about censorship, I am not on Facebook and have no intention of going back there. Until we meet again, be good, be safe, be vigilant, and remember, Clown World and the Deep State must be destroyed. And if you see what's going on in Southern California, it seems it's beginning to happen. Good day.